And the winner is, from Mission Hills, Chaun Holiday.
Tonight's All Sports Report, a packed edition. We've got 2 NFL playoff games, an update on which Chargers coach has 1 foot out the door, an exclusive interview with Johnny D, and a special tribute to one of this industry's greats. But right now we devote all of our time to one special guest. 2014 Silver Pigskin winner Chaun Holiday has returned from playing in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. And his first stop since getting off the plane is right here with us. Chaun, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, awesome. Now, the U.S. Army Bowl is a huge showcase of the nation's talents. So take me through the week. What was it like? What did you see?
So pretty much we went through a couple of days of practice, got to know our coaching staff, our teammates, and, we did one-on-ones, 7-on-7s, team reps, and pretty much just had a week to bond with these group of guys and have a winning team at the end.
It's also got to be a little intimidating when you're trying to play football and you got like 5,000 people dressed in camo, 5,000 soldiers staring at you. What is that like?
I mean, it's crazy, but, this is something that I was glad I was able to be a part of, and it's something I'll remember forever.
All right. Now, these bowl games, they're a lot like the Oscars and the Emmys, where you end up with a big swag bag if you're part of the action. So do you have any cool objects or anything to show off?
I got my hat, pretty much everything that I'm wearing right here, and, I was able to take home my helmet as well.
All right, lift that helmet right up there. And what's on the back of that helmet?
My last name right here in gold.
All right.
Yeah.
That's very awesome. That's very cool. Now, we got a couple of highlights of you from the game. So let's take our audience into the film room here, and let's break this down. How about the first time they threw right at you on this screen? Take a look at it. What did you see? What were you thinking?
So pretty much, I just saw the crack coming down on my safety, so I had to replace, and, I just made the play. And did something good for my team.
Now, how much work do you do scouting the other team? It's not like you can say, hey, watch out for this guy. He's going to Alabama, because, like, everybody's going to Alabama.
Yeah, you kind of can tell. I mean, of course, everybody's good out here, but those select few guys that kind of separate themselves between the running backs, and, he's one of the top running backs there, so, I just made my play.
Okay, now we got another play here. This is also some great defense, but you also got called for pass interference on this play. Were you surprised by that? What was going on?
I was very surprised by that. I think it was a good play by me. I saw the ball in the air, and I tried to make a play on the ball.
And then did you feel like you were doing the Antonio Cromartie there when you were coming down there?
Yeah, a little bit. I was hoping I was going to come down with it, though.
All right, now you didn't get quite the amount of reps that I think most people thought you were going to get. I feel like part of the reason for that was because you guys just kept forcing turnovers. So how hard is it when you're a guy that plays both ways, but yet you're not on the field?
It's kind of hard, but at the same time, it was a team effort. We got the win, and it's a lot of us. We all great, so I just kind of take it as a learning experience and get better at it.
And a lot of times too, you're probably negotiating with other guys, saying, "Hey, I want in. Hey, you should be in." How does that work?
We did a rotation type of a thing. We only had four of us, so we 2 go in, and then we just switch off every now and again. But as much as the turnovers that we was getting at the time, it was a little unfair if I got in for only 2 plays and then got a pick or whatever, and then that was it.
All right, now you're hearing plenty about college commitment, so we're not going to get in and grill you all about that. But this game is known for live college decisions, so I want to hear from you on this. How did seeing players making their choices throughout the week affect you?
Necessarily, it didn't really affect me. I mean, yeah, I got to see a couple of the top people in our class, see where they go, and it just doesn't affect me, but it just lets me see where people are going. So I make the right choice, if I want that person to be part of my team in future.
And now, throughout the week, though, you had all these players kind of grouping together. You think USC had a group, Texas had a group. Did they come to you and say, hey, join our group, be a part of us?
Yeah, I mean, the schools that I did have offers from, they knew how it was, For example, USC, I roomed with a USC commit, and I also was right next to 2 other USC commits, you know.
I understand it. And now it's interesting you bring up that USC commit because that man did make an interesting decision when he chose to commit. So let's hear what he had to say.
For the next 3 years, I'll be attending the University of Southern California.
Southern California.
Lewis, thank you. We all noticed up here in the booth, he's only going to stay at SC for 3 years.
Apparently so.
Going to come out early.
He should have eligibility remaining after 3 years unless the rules have changed.
So that was your roommate there saying he's only going to be at USC for 3 years. Can you shed some light on the subject? What did he say to you?
You know, it was a mistake. He was real nervous at the time. What he really meant to say was 3 to 4, you know, but if the 3 years is what he meant to say, you know, power to him. He feels like, you know, he's going to go in there and make a name for himself and get out early enough. Okay, well, great explanation. I think he'll be really relieved to have someone in his corner there. Now, you're the 2014 Silver Pigskin winner. I want to know, how is your life different? How are people at school treating you? How are other football fans treating you? You know, it hasn't really changed. You know, I have a real good supporter system. So, you know, it was great to get it, but it didn't really change anything.
I understand. And where are you putting the trophy? Where's that going to go? In your house, the school? Where's it going to go?
It'll possibly go into my school for display for a little bit, and then probably come home with me.
All right, that's a great choices there. Now, finally, there's a really great group of juniors. They're going to have a shot at that trophy next year. Go ahead and handicap the field for me, and I'm just going to take a guess here. You're going to start in your own backyard at Mission Hills.
Yeah, you know, I definitely have to say right off the bat, Troy Warner, but you know, there's also a lot of great athletes, junior athletes. You know, Nathan Stinson, Michael Austin, the running back from St. Augustine as well, and
Elijah Preston, yes.
Yeah, Elijah Preston, and you know, it's gonna be a run-up.
You got another one in your own backyard too, Burgess, right? Is that the one you
yeah,
got?
you know, can't forget about him either. You know, all great athletes.
Excellent. Listen, Deshaun, it's a real honor to have you in studio. Really appreciate you coming right off the plane and coming in here. Any last shout-out you want to give anyone we want to say hi to?
You know, I just want to give a shout-out to my cousin Devin Holiday. You know, he came back home a couple of days ago, and it's great to see him again.
Excellent. We definitely know about him. So that's awesome. Thank you very much, Deshaun. Glad to have you. All right, there you go. That guy's.
Right.
He's a great guy. He's an incredible player, an incredible talent, great human being, and I can't wait to see what happens with him.
I'm glad he could be
Absolutely.
here. And the whole family, too.
The whole family is here. It's great.
You should take him to dinner, Brandon.
Oh,
see, that's a good
now
idea.
you've put all the pressure on me. You put all of it there. I understand.
You can handle it.
We're going to dinner, guys. Let's go.
We'll be right
Come on
back.
now.
Stay with us.